a lot. We're asking you to be consistent with your own convictions regarding information connected to the Epstein files. You were cheering it on. You were salivating over the opportunity to own the libs. Salivating over it. You were like, this is going to be the shit. This is going to bring everybody down. Cool. Hold that same energy. Go to your Republican elected officials and tell them to sign the damn discharge petition. Simple. Go ahead. We will encourage you. I'll even hold your hand if you want. I'll whisper in your ear. I'll tell you funny stories. I'll make you some cocoa. It's not that hard. Show you in the bill where what is. Show us in the bill where that is. Show us in the bill where what is, Sean? Defunding the police? What do you think the mayor of D.C. has been talking about? If you hadn't cut our resources, we wouldn't even be having these conversations. But I know you don't believe her because she's a woman. Right. Sean, explain to us then why the crime rate is higher in Republican states than it is in Democratic states. Why? Why is that, Sean? Why is that? Why are we not going to Louisiana? Monroe, Louisiana, New Orleans. Oh, and then you're going to say those are Democratic cities? You don't understand how state laws work, obviously. And the report issued by Congress a couple of years ago said that even if you remove the largest cities from every state, crime would still be higher in red states. And I'll ask you this again. We can assume that every state in our country, all 50, RJ uses this argument and I love it, all 50 states have blue cities. Why is it then that red states still have the higher rates of crime? Seriously, why? Why is that? So let's use your argument. Let's say you're right. Okay, let's say you're right, that the highest crime rate is in blue cities. So then answer me this. Every state in the country has a blue city, right? Usually they're the largest cities because that's where the economic engine is, because Democrats, liberals are much better at the economy than Republicans could ever claim to be. So if that's the case and we agree on that, then why are crime rates still higher in red states? Why are Louisiana and Mississippi always at the top of the list? Why is that? Oh, because of blue residents. Because of blue residents? What the fuck does that even mean? Yeah, you're right. There are blue cities in red states too. There are blue cities in red states. Blue cities in blue states. Why is it that crime is still higher in red states? You can't answer it. This is what we've been trying to tell you of how delusional and cult-like your behavior is. I don't. That's all. That's all we're asking. That's it. Just somebody to clarify. One less. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. I just wanted to point something out. You mentioned that study. That study was by Third Way, and an important detail.
What study? Wait. What study? What study are you referring to?
Okay, this is a study is by Third Way, and it's the one where. But you said, hold on. You said I referred to a study. I didn't refer to a study. I referred to a congressional report based on FBI data, based on CDC data. That's what I referred to. Right. That's the one that was put out by Third Way, I believe.
No, it was a report that was done by Congress.
Okay. Well, there was one that was put out by Third Way, and they removed the cities, the large cities, from only the red states, and the red states still had higher crime.
Exactly.
So they didn't afford that luxury to the blue states. They only did it with the red states. They left all the big blue cities in the big blue states, took all the big blue cities out of the red states, and the red states still had higher crime rates.
Correct. That's exactly right. Yep. There's no defense to it. But I appreciate you sharing that one, Les. Thanks for jumping in today. Thanks a lot for being here.
Oh, not a problem. Thanks.
Sure. So you're saying it's a lie. You're saying it's a lie. It's so easy to say that it's a lie. Okay, well, it's actually not. I have the information. Let's just look at it. So this is you're right. It is through Third Way. Correct. This is a 2-decade red state homicide problem. Okay. And I apologize on one. You're absolutely right. I forgot about the source. Okay. The murder rate in the 25 states that voted for Donald Trump has exceeded the murder rate in the 25 states that voted for Joe Biden every year from 2000 to 2020. Over the 21-year span, the red state gap has steadily widened from a low of 9% more per capita red state homicides in 2003 and 2004 to 44% more per capita red state unalivings in 2019 before settling back to 43% in 2020. Altogether, the per capita red state homicide rate was 23% higher than the blue state homicide rate when all 21 years were combined. If blue state homicide rates were as high as red state homicide rates, Biden voting states would have suffered over 45,000 more homicides between 2000 and 2020. Even when homicides in the largest cities in red states are removed, overall homicide rates in Trump voting states were 12% higher than Biden voting states across the 21-year period and were higher in 18 of the 21 years combined. And again, the chirping. Red states have dominated the top 10 homicide rate for 2 decades. In 2020, this was the ranking. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Illinois, Maryland, and Georgia. 8 of the top 10. Do you disagree with that? Do your feelings tell you it's different than that? Or is it the truth? Why is it so difficult to accept it? That's what I want to know. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard. Good morning, Poochie. How are you today?
Good.
Good. What's on your mind?
Why would you have stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome?
I don't. I think you do.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, so here's a question for you, Poochie. Here's a question for you. Really simple, right? Why are Republican members of Congress so afraid to sign the discharge petition? Stop making noise. Stop making noise. Stop making noise. Why are Republicans in Congress so afraid to sign the discharge petition?
You look like a pedo.
Can you answer the question, Poochie? Maga, that's your boy. He was rubbing something. I'm not sure what it was. I think he just loves my face. Listen, here's the thing. It's really simple question, right? It's just those are the people that you vote with, MAGA. Do you think that was like a flex? Do you think that was something that was like important that he had to say? Right? What is it? Why was that so hard? Why was that so hard? Why is it? Just answer the question. Is there any MAGA in here, any one of you, that is willing to answer the question, why won't Republicans, other than the 4 that have already signed it, why won't they sign the discharge petition? Are those people, you want to call Marjorie Taylor Greene a rhino? You want to call Nancy Mace a rhino? Lauren Boebert a rhino? Thomas Massie a rhino? You want to call those 4 people rhinos? Are they committing hostile acts against the administration? I don't know about that. I think it's a weird flex. I'm just saying.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Good morning.
How are you, sir? Hello there.
Hey, I'm doing really good.
Good.
What would be good for you is to look at Mod Family, at the photos I just posted.
Ooh. People stepping up. The fall of the Trump fascist regime. Yes. Love that.
Yes. Now, we were just talking about how it's coming apart at the seams, right?
It is. It is.
And I live in what I think would easily be described as a suburban neighborhood of Los Angeles County. Would you agree, having been here?
Agreed. I have, yes.
Now, you notice also that those signs are in English and in Spanish.
They are.
And so I was able to, having to run with Scout to catch up to the folks and applaud them and ask what I could do to help. They said, go to the QR code to help. Now, I haven't done that yet to check on them. But I find it interesting that where I live, there's now a groundswell of anti-Trump sentiment, which I did not see the first 4 years, and I'm just now starting to see here, right? And we're in the eastern corridor of Los Angeles County, so we abut a pretty conservative area. But I think as you unpack all of the things that you've been unpacking, the constant stripping of funding for things that need to be funded because Republicans don't want any social services.
Correct.
The constant defunding of budgets for the police unless they're
Correct.
for tanks or assault vehicles that police departments do not need.
Correct.
The constant defunding for anything related to mental health, and to make items even worse, they have now stripped out funding for scientific research. And we know that they don't allow any scientific research or correlation of data to be done around items that are related to 2A arguments, right?
Correct.
The economy is literally in the fucking toilet, and it's going to get worse. We have farmers who once again stood up so proudly voting for Trump. Now they're going to lose their ass. Here's what I have to say to you, all of the farmers that are about to lose all of your family's land and businesses. Ha ha, told you so. No, we don't care about you. No, we don't feel sorry for you. And no, we're not going to support you. And no, we're glad you're not going to get bailed out again, because you know what? Brazil just took over the entire soybean market for China. And we told you so.
So while you're here, buddy, got a little breaking news.
Yes.
This just came out from CNBC. Job growth revised down by 911,000 through March, signaling economy on shakier footing than initially realized. The labor market created far fewer jobs than previously thought, according to a Labor Department report Tuesday that added to concerns both about the health of the economy and the state of data collection. Annual revisions to non-farm payrolls data for the year prior to March 2025 showed a drop of 911,000 from the initial estimates. According to a preliminary report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the total was on the high end of Wall Street's expectations, which range from a low of around 600,000 to as many as 1 million. The numbers, which are adjusted from data in the quarterly census and reflect updated information on business openings and closings, add to evidence that the employment picture in the U.S. is weakening. Tuesday's revisions are not by themselves a reflection of current conditions, as they go back as much as a year and a half. However, recent months' data also has been pointing to a soft labor market. The summer months of June, July, and August saw average payroll growth of just 29,000 per month, below the break-even level for keeping the unemployment rate steady. In addition to the economic concern, the revisions also bring added heat to the BLS, which has been under fire from the White House for its data collection methods and results. Following a weak jobs report in July that featured substantial downward revisions, President Trump fired then BLS Commissioner Erica McIntyre and nominated Heritage Foundation economist E.J. Antoni as a replacement. However, the August payrolls count was actually lower than July's and also featured revisions that took down the June total to a loss of 13,000 jobs, the first negative total since December of 2020. The benchmark revisions differ from the monthly adjustments in that they are far more encompassing. Where the monthly moves come from additional survey data that comes into the BLS, The annual revisions stem from more comprehensive information from the quarterly census of employment and wages, as well as tax data that essentially offers a full do-over on the data rather than the incremental course corrections of monthly reports. All told, not good. Not good.
Yeah.
So, what do we know?
Well,
what do we know?
Here's a prediction for you. First, we'll start with the fact. At the end of Trump's first 4 years, he left with a net negative 2.9 million job loss as a record.
Correct. And none of us are going to blame him for COVID. That's not what we're saying. We're not going to blame him for COVID. Nobody's doing that. But prior to COVID, yes, go ahead.
Right. Prior to COVID, he was already losing jobs at a clip. And even if you calculate for COVID, he still would have had a net job loss on his record. There is no way for him not to have. It would be mathematically impossible.
Correct.
What will happen at the end of this 4 years? I predict he will end up with a net loss of 5 to 7.5 million jobs if he's to make it all 4 years. And TJ in the chat, what you need to do, TJ Storm, is you need to request to come up. And we're going to give you 30 seconds. If you do not request to come up in 30 seconds, you are going to find a whole new meaning to chutes and ladders. Because you're going to find a chute, and there's not going to be a ladder to help you climb back up. I don't have to do that? Is that what you just said? Okay. Well, guess what, TJ? You don't have to do that, and we don't have to let you be here. So everyone say goodbye to TJ. Say bye-bye.
Bye, TJ. Have a good day. Kiss, kiss. Love, love. Bye. Bye. Yep.
So, MAGA, we want you to come up into this box. We want you to do things. Oh, also, by the way, on that, on the Hyundai factory story, as you know, I am a proud owner of Hyundai vehicles, and I will never own another vehicle outside of them. They're just too
brand spanking new one.
Brand spanking no pimp mobile. Now listen. The story is that a woman running for Congress in that district is the one that reached out to Tom Holman directly because of all of the people who were here on visas from South Korea to train workers on how to use their equipment. Now, here's the irony, right? If Hyundai decides to go ahead and not keep that factory there, what's going to happen to the 8,500 jobs it was going to create? What is MAGA going to say then? Because, of course, it's in a red state. It's not in a blue state. What's MAGA going to say then? And guess whose fault it's going to be? It's going to be Trump's fault. So Trump literally... Oh, it is true? She said so in an interview? Crazy Town, Mama? Okay. So I'm not crazy. I thought that's what I had read. So we have a woman running for Congress in a red district that reaches out directly to Homeland Security to report this. That's why they basically invaded that factory, because it was an invasion. Make no bones about it. That is literally a frontal assault, oddly enough, on capitalism, which I thought MAGA was all for. Oh, what happened?
Totally
Francis
agree.
Was here, and then Francis was not here.
It might have been an accidental request.
An accidental.
Accidents will happen, according to Elvis Costello. Anyway.
Yes. Also, because everybody pees and poops, accidents happen all the time.
Correct. Everybody poops. But you're right. So, I mean, once again, let's talk about what we know. So who is going to get blamed now? Who's going to get blamed? Who's going to get blamed for these job numbers? Who's going to get blamed? Now, don't forget, we've got this great statement that was made by Mr. Trump.
I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy.
There's that. Yeah, there's that. We have that, of course. I'm sure they will figure out a way to blame Joe Biden because this goes back a while. But we also know that Republicans don't create jobs. We've got 50 years to prove it. I forget what the numbers were. Bill Clinton cited it at the DNC, the convention, the nominating convention for Kamala Harris, like 51 million jobs created since 1980.
Yes. Something like that.
49 million created by Democrats and 2 million created by Republicans. So,
also, can we point out again that Dr. Antoni, who is the now director of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in his PhD dissertation, which I actually found enjoyable to read, though didn't necessarily agree, he cited these statistics from this office that Trump claims is cooking the books. The amount of contradictory information that comes out of the Trump cabinet and administration is absolutely staggering.
I'm going to address a comment. I'm going to address a comment real quick.
Comment.
Yeah, yellow red. You said only liberal men wear nail polish. You're right, because we're secure enough to be able to do so. But thank you for that. I appreciate the acknowledgement. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you for walking into the point.
Because we're not cowards.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to bring up Serial and see. He said he has a question.
Okay.
Good morning, Serial. How are you today? What kind of cereal, by the way? Like Captain Crunch, Golden Grams, Frosted Flakes?
Sure.
Which one? Captain Crunch, I'm assuming, based on your picture?
Sure.
Okay. Well, do you have a question?
Yes. So you voted for Kamala, right?
Proudly, yes. Who did you vote for?
Claudia de la Cruz.
Claudia de la Cruz?
Yes.
So you don't care about democracy?
No, I do.
You do?
I can explain to you why I do.
I'm not interested in why you didn't participate in democracy. I'm curious, though. How do you think the things are going in our country currently?
Is this Ty?
So one of my biggest issues is her support for Israel.
It is.
You're going to want to drop this guy immediately.
Yep.
Thank
you. Bye, Ty. Good try. Yeah, I thought that was him. Bye, Ty.
Yeah, let's block that if you're still in the chat.
Yes. Bye, Ty. See, people know who you are. People know who you are, Ty, and we don't want you here because you're just all you're out to do is to try to bring people's lives down because you don't care. So you're blocked. Yeah. Goodbye. No, not a Zionist, Ty. We just think you're stupid. So that's why. And you don't have a positive take. So now you can take out the trash with the rest of the National Guard troops that have been assigned to D.C. So you can, which is horrible for them to have to do that. So you can go participate in that. Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you. Appreciate you. Anywho.
I was going to say, you said Captain Crunch. I was going to say sorghum, but then I assumed he wouldn't have known that was a cereal grain. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Are there any bad cereals?
Okay.
Because
we've had, if I have had this.
Well, if I had a box of Golden Grams in front of me, I would devour the whole thing like in one sitting. No doubt about it. Blueberry might be one of those. It's bad.
On. Here's a bad box. No. Mucilix.
Mucilix. Yeah. Honey Bunch of Oats. Damn good. Seriously. But I mean, who would not devour a box of Golden Grams or like Frosted Flakes? Because the best part is the milk in the bowl at the end. Milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's listen, nobody eats Cocoa Puffs because they like them. They just want chocolate milk and don't want to go out and buy it.
That's fair too. Yeah. So I'm curious about how the market's going to react to this because obviously, and what I'm more curious about is how the president is going to react to this because you know full well that they will attempt to blame this on the Biden administration. Friends, let them do it. Just let them. Just let them do that. Just let them because they're going to do it anyway.
Here would be my question. Given that there's a possibility that these economic numbers could be tied back to the Biden administration, can you talk about the policies that would tie these really bad economic numbers to a Biden policy and watch his head explode? Because this is the one thing KK Lion Caroline can't do, Trump can't do. They can never actually tie it back to something. But what they'll say is, oh, fake news. Or what did he just say to that woman? Your second tier? Holy shit.
Second rate.
Racist much?
I'm going to see if there's any statements on True Social.
I'm pretty sure the markets are going to be in a continual state of confusion. Hiring is going to slow down to a crawl. I think South Korea is really going to pull back on any manufacturing that's here.
So we've got a statement. This came out an hour ago, so he probably had it. Yeah. Let's see what he said here. So he's got, if the Fed had, this is from the president, if the Fed had allowed what we published, they would have raised rates early in 2021. The entire organization is broken. It needs to be fixed. They need to use modern sources of information. We strongly disagree with Ken Griffin. We think incompetence is more important than to defend the theoretical independence. He, too late, Powell, has done a terrible job since he adapted a 2 target. It's too low. It's too rigid. They follow data that's years delayed. They don't believe that money supply matters. It's like the Pope not believing in Jesus. We think that's a much bigger problem than this notion that they are dependent or they're not independent. Jay Hatfield, Infrastructure Capital Advisor, CEO and CIO on Maria B. Bartiromo's show. Chairman Powell was too late to raise rates. They need to come down here. There's no question about it. He's dragging his feet. The Fed's going to come down here 50, 75, maybe 100 basis points. So they're scrambling. They have no answer for this. MAGA, this is what you voted for.
First of all, this is the absolute worst time. You can't lower rates right now. That would be absolutely catastrophic. You have to leave rates alone. And yeah, it's painful. And yeah, it sucks. But we can't lower rates because we don't know what's going to happen. Because one, as far as we know, there has not been a single tariff deal actually signed. Right? There's been a lot of strongly worded letters. And there's been some agreements to possible capital investment. By the way, capital investment is not a tariff, right? It's how you get Trump to shut up.
Correct. Joanna Mercado Arno, he said, people cannot afford a mortgage. It stinks to keep rates as they are. Now, I understand why you would say that, but what really matters here is why the rates they are what they are. So it's easy to sit around and say, it's too high because you're believing the rhetoric. Do you understand the reason why the Fed is independent? The reason why the Fed has to be independent? Now, you guys can cheer this on, just like the exercise we went through yesterday about how OPEC is about to flood, OPEC Plus is about to flood the market with oil. And you guys will celebrate because that will bring down gas prices at the expense of U.S. oil and gas companies because it happens all the time. Okay? It happens all the time. This is exactly what happened the first time under the Trump administration under the OPEC Plus deal that he cut in 2020. We've already lost well counts. Thousands of jobs in the oil fields over the course of this summer have been lost, and they're not coming back because those oil companies are some of the biggest investors into renewable energy. So they see the future. So when that deal expires in a year, just before the election, gas prices are going to spike again because we don't have domestic capacity. So once again, he's doing you a solid by lowering your gas prices, but not telling you what's behind it. Not telling you what's behind it. What's behind it is the decimation of the U.S. oil and gas industry. And you guys don't want to believe it. And you think it's a good thing because all you care about is the price at the pump. That's it. Oh, I'm psyched to have a special guest. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Oh. Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Look at that handsome devil. What's going on, buddy?
Hey. Nothing. Listen, I've just been sitting here listening to you all morning as, I have my coffee. And Facts, when do they say that it's no longer fear-mongering and start to actually heed the warning that we continue to actually throw out there? I'm a little confused as far as where's that line of demarcation for Trump supporters?
My brother, you know the answer. I mean, I always refer to this poll that was released, this company called Ledger. I'll send it to you in the Discord. It's Leger. They're out of Canada, but they've been really active. They're like Pew and Gallup in the States. And they did a survey, I think it was like 3,000 Republican voters, and they asked them if Trump is incriminated in the Epstein files, would you still support him? 47% said they would.
Of course.
So,
of course.
I mean,
you know what's funny about that though, Facts? Like they literally told us they keep shifting the goalposts, right? Because before it was like, well, you know, with the E. Jean Carroll case, well, it's a civil case, it's not a criminal case. Okay, with the actual 34 count felonies, well, it's a sham court. So if there was something else, okay, if he doesn't end the war in Ukraine, that hasn't happened. Okay, if he's on the Epstein list, I mean, we've gotten that information. Okay, if they just keep pushing it further back. And my point is like, when is enough is enough? I don't get when enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why and I'm glad you brought it up the way that you did, because all those things were, I mean, important but minor when compared to the Epstein list, in my opinion, because I think this is one of those stories that everybody on the left, even people on the right, want all the information to come out. So that's why I think this is the end of MAGA, because every single time we learn more information, it makes the lies that they're telling just be more and more ridiculous. Where are you going to go? You can't claim to want transparency and to have all these people exposed and yet be afraid to have the information released. I mean, this is where I think this is the one, at least to me, I'll be curious your opinion. I think this is the one to me that's going to bring the House of Cards down.
I would hope so. But with that being said,
I hear it in your voice.
When you're in a cult and you're willing to drink the Kool-Aid to see the spaceship, you're going to drink the Kool-Aid. And that's why we keep hearing the excuse, well, he's only been in office for a week. He's only been in office for 100 days. He's only been in office for 6 months. Give him time, give him time, give him time. That's what they continue to say, and that's the point that I'm not understanding. Like, where is it? And I get it, right? It's sunken costs. I mean, and I've said this a million times. The Trump supporters in 2015, they were just random wallflower number 2, right? But then Donald Trump came along and gave them that red hat. And that red hat made them feel special. And that red hat made them feel heard. And that red hat made them feel powerful. They no longer needed to actually have a personality, because MAGA was their personality. Trump was their personality. They no longer had to be smart or prove things, because there were alternative facts and everything is fake news. They no longer had to actually believe anyone, because everyone lies except Trump. And so when you go that deep into having a set sunken cost, the line of demarcation is so far away. I think the only thing that could possibly break them out of this is not only if they're personally impacted, because we've already seen people personally getting impacted and they're still finding a way to blame others and not Trump. The only thing that'll break them out of it is if they're personally impacted and then Trump says, I did it. I think that's it. I don't know what else can happen. And
he'll never admit that.
No.
You know, what's worse, let's just game this out a little bit, right? The evidence is overwhelming. He can't run for it anymore. He cites a health condition. He can no longer fulfill his term. He's now got some health issues that people have questioned. He decides to resign the presidency, and then he'll ask J.D. Vance for a pardon. And then he'll just run from it. He'll never admit that. He'll never admit to it. He can't. And what will happen is he'll come out with some statement saying, I think it's better to serve the MAGA agenda for J.D. Vance to carry the torch. He won't allude to anything, and MAGA will just gobble it up. The problem with that argument, in my opinion, is nobody likes J.D. Vance.
I was just about to say, that's the question I have for you. Even if Donald Trump gives him the rub, right, and says, hey, JD, this is the guy. He's the future of MAGA. Do you think that they actually buy in? Because I've seen some people say, you know, Vance 2028, and I've spoken with people, but they don't have the conviction. They don't have the actual fire. And then also JD Vance doesn't have it. You know when people have it, and he doesn't. Like, sure. I don't like Trump. I don't like Trump. But he has it. I've said this a million times. He's a horrible person. He's a horrible businessman. Like, he's horrible at everything, but he is an amazing marketer. He can market himself, so he has it. And JD Vance doesn't have it.
totally agree. I mean, you're objective, and I think I completely agree with you. Objectively speaking, when this is studied in the future from a political analyst perspective, they will say that the charismatic nature of Donald Trump to galvanize millions of people over 10 years when his entire administration is based on lies, manipulation, propaganda, et cetera, that's something that's going to be studied forever. Objectively speaking, I think we would all agree, right? J.D. Vance doesn't have that it thing. He just doesn't. People don't respect him in his own party. People in the cabinet, you've been hearing these rumblings of people in the cabinet. There's like, this guy's a friggin' clown, right? But yet they'll bend the knee for Trump no matter what, even if he's on the list. Right? It's like rumors come out about J.D. Vance and couches, whatever that is. People were not coming to his defense. They were not coming to his defense.
And that's because Trump wills the cult, right? I mean, he moves the needle, right? I always go back to I don't know, Facts, how big of a sports fan you are. If you used to watch Cold Pizza.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Loved it.
So you remember Skip Bayless back, this is before he really started hating LeBron, back when he used to hate Brett Favre, right?
Yeah.
And he said something that like always, it resonates with me today and it's always stuck with me. He said, honestly, it doesn't matter if people overwhelmingly love you or people overwhelmingly hate you. Like, you move the needle in one way or the other. So people are either going to boo you at all times or people are going to cheer you at all times. Talking about Brett Favre, right? And you think about like some of the most influential athletes of our time, and they have that, right? You don't see people that are quote unquote lukewarm on those athletes. And you can say the same thing about Donald Trump. Either there's people that worship at the altar, or there's other people that's, counting down the day until it happens, right? And JD Vance doesn't have that. But I got a better question for you.
You're right. Go ahead.
So Donald Trump is a populist candidate, right? He doesn't have policy, hasn't proven that he's able to do anything, even from his first term. Even the hateful stuff that he's trying to get off with the complete buy-in from the Supreme Court, he's still not able to successfully do these hateful things.
Correct.
What happens if we get another populist candidate who has a cohesive team behind him? Because I think the biggest thing holding up the Trump administration is the fact that there's so many people that are out for themselves, right? They're trying to enrich themselves. They're trying to push an agenda. You have Stephen Miller, who's trying to make this a white country. You have people like, Peter Navarro and Scott Bessel, who are trying to enrich themselves even more. I don't know what the hell is going on with Elon. He was in, then he was out. Now he's kind of back in. I saw them at Mar-a-Lago. Like, it's a whole thing. But what happens if you have another populist candidate who can spark the imagination and engage the heart of people that gets buy-in? They don't need to be able to prove anything, and they have a cohesive team behind them that can actually push whatever agenda they want. How dangerous is that?
Liberally populist or more conservative populism?
Conservative. If you get and again, let's say for all intents and purposes, let's say JD Vance, but he's a populist and he is doing the bidding of Peter Thiel and the Heritage Foundation, and everyone is just like, this is our guy. No matter what he does, this is our guy.
I think the common denominator is Trump, because there's no one that can galvanize supporters like him. We have to keep in mind that questions about the election, I'm not going to go down that road in 2024, but he only won by 1.7%. Right? So we know the margins are really, really narrow. It's a really good question, Santana, of course, coming from you, but it's the common denominator is Trump. There's no one like him, and there'll never be somebody like him again. So it could be the same people. So let's play this out. Could be the same people behind him. Could be the Stephen Millers. Could be all those people. If JD Vance is the front runner, there's no devotion to JD Vance in the MAGA base. None.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's dangerous, right? Because I think that's how Germany got Hitler, right? A lot of people don't know their history, but Hitler was not only duly elected, but he was loved, right? And his love came from the point that I completely pin it on was his drive for the Autobahn, right? Because the Autobahn connected Germany to so many other areas. It created jobs. It did so much for Germany. And then he actually parlayed that love, because he wasn't like successful in anything else really for like the first year and a half of him being in power. And so then he was able to parlay that love and that success with the Autobahn into nationalism, right? With standardizing the way that people actually dress. And then he continued to go on and on and on to the next thing, to the next thing. And so my thing is if we all as a people here in the US don't question and push back on our leaders, no matter what the political affiliation is, if we don't question and push back on our leaders and we just fall in line and accept it, we're heading down a dangerous path of authoritarianism that can dramatically shift the country super quick. I mean, I think we're already kind of there with Trump, but like it'll be different if we have someone. It would be different if we have not only someone intelligent, but a cohesive team behind them. That's the point.
That's fair. Do you know the creator on TikTok, the knitting cult lady?
No. Can
she's
pass
become
me
a
their
friend.
Information?
I will. She's a friend of the show. She grew up in the Children of God sex cult, and then she joined the U.S. Army. So she's got really good understanding of high control environments. And I've talked to her about what you just brought up. And her response is always, there's no figure, because a cult needs a leader, people to follow behind. And there's no one other than Trump, from her perspective, that said there's no one on the right that carries that same, impact and charisma, as much as it is revolting to say. He's got those things, to be objective. I hear what you're saying. I mean, there's been other populists, though. Ronald Reagan, I guess you could say, was a populist.
Ronald Reagan was a beast. That map.
I know. I know, right? I mean, you could make that argument, right? But not in the. We think about populism a lot differently this way, because I think of it more cult-like. There's no one. I hear what you're saying, and I want a cautionary tale. We should not underestimate J.D. Vance, because that got us Trump to begin with when we underestimated him. I just think the fracturing in the party, there are already a lot of people on the conservative side of the ledger that are just kind of frustrated with this kind of shit. We got the billionaire class that is psyched they're getting their tax breaks, but they're kind of done with this stuff too. Like every single day, it's about Trump drawing pictures of naked girls and all this kind of shit. They're done with it. So but that is what fuels MAGA. Because they don't like people who look like you. They don't like liberal men who paint their nails. They don't like women. They don't like kids. They don't like poor people. They don't like the disabled people, because Trump tells them not to. Right?
Hell, facts. They don't even like themselves. You know what's funny? They all think they're one lotto ticket away from being a billionaire. That's why they continue to actually do that. They think, you know what? That scratcher that I'm going to get from the corner store, that's going to be it.
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I think I hope the lesson. I've heard you talk about this too, about how apathy is where democracies go to die, and people on the left have just become almost pearl clutching, too entitled, always looking for perfection, and then you miss the good in your quest for perfection. And I think I'd like to see the left get over that a little bit, and a lot of it actually, and just be more aggressive. I mean, I'd like to see the same type of energy and hole poking of democratic norms we get on the daily from the right. I'd like to see that from the left a little bit more. Challenge conformity. I'm sick and tired of settling for bullshit. I'm tired of it. That's what I want to see. So a little populism on the left in a good way, maybe. I'd support that. Let's go.
I agree. I'm going to leave you with one last thing. Sure,
buddy. Sure. Everybody, please follow Santana if you don't. He's an awesome creator. Hell of a dude. Please follow him.
I'm okay. Both ways. Okay.
Take your flowers, dude. Take your flowers.
There's one person that the right had that could have been the heir to Trump, even though it would have been a little bit tricky. He could have been the heir to Trump, and now it's over. Elon Musk. Hey, Nate, thank you for the galaxy. Elon Musk had that cult of personality, right, with the tech bros. Everyone on the right just seemingly to completely embrace him after he, quote unquote, left the left, right? And they were really leaning into, well, he's a billionaire, he's a genius, he's this, he's that. And even though he wasn't born here, because I saw someone said that in the chat, and that's why I said it would have been tricky, but the MAGA cult loved Elon until him and Trump had that little spat. So even though like there's something going on right now where he's in and he's out and he's back under control, he's not. And plus, you know, it's the trips. I'll just call it the trips that he continues to take. You know, messes with him. Like there was something there, but they lost it because those two narcissists couldn't coexist. That's true.
That's true. Who's going to swing further? You know what I mean? First of all, thank you for jumping in. Are you going live at all today? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be live later this evening at some point, you know, throughout the day. The only thing that I will promote, follow the YouTube for anyone watching. Excuse me. Anyone watching at Santana Speaks over on YouTube. We are almost at 8,000 followers. So yeah, I mean, follow the YouTube. All of my streams are there, posted content. I also do exclusives for the tube. So yeah, check that out.
You're a good man. Good to see you again, buddy. Thanks a lot for being here.
I appreciate you having me up.
You got it, man. See you later. Freaking love Santana. Love Santana. He's right, though. I mean, I'll be curious about that. It's a really good question because, yes, we can certainly identify Trump and MAGA as a populist movement, no doubt about it. There's no other leader, as far as I know. I've never seen, and I've been involved in politics a long time. I've studied it. I've never seen anyone like him, ever. And let's hope that we never see anybody like him again, because I don't want cult behavior in my politics. I want to hold people accountable. We should be objective. We should be able to criticize our leaders. We don't see that within populism, right? And I would challenge the traditional populism approach because this is a cult. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Bradley, yeah, hold Israel accountable. Why did Donald Trump tell Benjamin Netanyahu to finish the job? So this is what I'm talking about. So thoughts on that conversation, Obi? And Santana's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, first of all, everyone should be following him that does not. I think there's an awful lot to unpack there, and it would be really interesting to get Daniela and Santana on a panel and kind of unpack that.
Great idea.
Right? I think that this would be a great, like, you could just sit there and host it, right? And then like really plan this out, because I think there's more in the few statements that he made about the comparisons than we could unpack in the next several hours without having experts here to unpack it. And I think drawing those parallels is helpful. Not that we're going to reach the few remaining scraps of MAGA, but I think it's far better to educate people who are like-minded. And I think that's why it's super important.
Yeah, Anita, well, let's clear that up. Can you please clear up who was the president during the separation of children from parents? That'd be Donald Trump. I appreciate you asking, though. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot to unpack there. And I think the common thing in this connection, all of it, the glue is Trump. There's no denying it. The devotion, I mean, literally people standing around him, putting their hands on his shoulder, and bringing the faith office into the White House. He's a servant of God. We saw that glazing fest for the cabinet meeting before he went dark for a few days. That J.D. Vance, no one that I know now in the Republican Party will ever gain that type of cult following. There could be people loyal to a candidate that could get behind J.D. Vance, but he's just despised. His favorabilities are below Trump's. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him. So that's been my argument all along regarding the 25th Amendment, is because the financiers in the Republican Party, the Peter Thiels of the world, the tech bros, that whole group of people, knows that he can't win an election, especially against Gavin Newsom or whoever it is. So the only way to get him in power, to potentially be able to continue some of their policies, would be for Trump to be removed, either through the 25th or impeached. So we'll see.
I agree. So go ahead and drop me down, and I'm going to go play taxi cab driver. And you and I will get hooked up later this afternoon. There's more work to be done, of course.
Sounds good, pal.
All right,
talk to you later. Thanks for being here. All right, man. Love you, man. Yeah, we'll see. Gavin will never win a swing state, just like Kamala. So James, That's a great statement. Do you feel proud of yourself? I'm so glad. I'm so glad you feel so proud of yourself. Appreciate that. KJ of TikTok, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I have a question for you. Did you see the exit polls on the favorabilities of the 4 candidates in November?
Did I see the exit poll of the 4 candidates? I mean, the Trump, Vance, and Kamala and Tim and Walz?
That's right.
Yeah. Did I see them in November? Probably.
Yeah. J.D. Vance had the highest favorables of all 4 of them. You guys are missing the boat on this.
According to what? According to what poll?
The NBC's exit polling.
Can you cite that so we can try to find that to see? Let's see if we can find it. Post-election survey. I don't remember seeing anything like that. Let's see. Well, both Harris and Trump received the same the net favorable. Actually, Trump's was upside down. Let's see. That's Trump. How would you rank?
I just had someone come in. Give me a moment. I'll be back up with you, and I'll bring the data with me when I come. All right. Okay. Thank you.
I'll drop you down. You can request again. I don't recall seeing anything like that. And again, that let's have that conversation. I've never seen. Let's just find out what it is now. Let's mods. Let's just check out. Let's see what Vance's favorability is right now. I'm just curious. Now I'm going to run down this rabbit hole. So this is real clear politics. Let's see. His unfavorable is 47.4%. His favorable is 41. So it's a 6-point spread in the negative. And they vary from 14 points. So the overall average is 6. Okay. So let's check Trump's. That's wild. Let's see. Let's check Trump's polling. You guys really think that he's popular? Okay. Cool. So his unfavorable is at 6.4%. So it's roughly the same. So I don't know if you know that. 51% disapprove, 45% approve. It's about the same split. So that's amongst Republicans. That's not good. But anyway, you can request back up when you find more information. I don't know why people think that Gavin Newsom won't win the swing states. Joe Biden did. I don't know why you don't think that. Well, hello. Our wife is requesting. Everybody sit up straight. Jen, does not look like you're connecting. If you want to come back, you can. Our friends who want to show me things are back in the chat mod, so I don't want to do that because that would be bad. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Pretty good. I was trying to make it up here with the World War II conversation because, World War II and I'm only here because of World War II. So. Yeah,
good point.
A lot of people don't realize that wasn't that long ago. That the only reason I'm here is because of World War II, because my grandmother was evacuated from Gibraltar and sent to England.
Can you drive for a minute?
Yeah, I can drive.
I'll be right back.
I got you. He's letting me take the wheel, guys. Anarchy. All right, mods, let's go. Let's take over Facts Still Matters and make it Victoria Still Matters. Anyway, jokes aside. Oh, God, I love your mods. They're like the best. You guys are the best. I'm going to I'm going to snatch you guys all up. Good morning. Good morning. Aw, thank you guys. Make sure we're liking the live, tapping, doing the thing. Tapping is clapping, for our favorite Silver Facts. We're going to try and get him to blush this morning. He's going to love coming back to seeing me on the big screen. I love the chaos. But yeah, I think it's really important that we have these conversations about history. And I encourage every single one of you to learn. Man, I forgot the defense background. That's going to bother me. I had a sign up there and it fell. And have these conversations, because understanding your history is only written by the winners. And that's something that's really important to keep in mind. And we forget all this. He's back.
What did I do?
I'm trying to be serious. No, I was just like, anarchy, mods, give me the big screen. And they are the best. So I snatched it up.
I got you.
No, I was just like, anarchy, let's go. Make this Victoria still matters. I've been trying. Oh,
Victoria's always mattered.
Level midnight. Yeah, it's true. I was talking about World War II and just why it's so important to understand your history, because history is only written by the winners. And we can learn a lot from the loss in Germany. Post World War I specifically, if you want to be honest, the United States was very much a huge component to what happened in post World War II or post World War I Germany, and why Hitler was allowed to take power. There's a huge knowledge base there. Past that, when we go into World War II, when we look at what was happening prior to that, we always think of like the end of the war, but we need to go back into the 1920s, 1930s, because it's really important to understand how they got there and what he did. And one of the things the German government did in the 1930s, I think it was like early 1930s, I might have my time off, is they gave him power in thinking that it would somehow like calm that group. And what they did is they seized power from the government. And that's what we're seeing here too. We're seeing a seizure of power. Like we've all treated them like they're going to come back from the abyss. Somehow there's a good side of it. That's not how these types of people work. They are going to continue to seize power. They're going to continue to push the norm, and they're going to continue to gain more and more. That's why I've got 3 posts right now that are not doing well with the algorithm, and they're literally there are people in the chat who are literally okay with the U.S. government utilizing military and the Department of War against U.S. citizens. They don't care. So the sooner we all get on board and understand that they genuinely don't care. Ty doesn't care. Dude who was just up here who was about to try and like whatever, like they don't care. And we've got to stop treating it like they're going to somehow come back from the abyss. They're not coming back, guys. And we need to treat it as such, because the reason that fascism is alive and well in the United States is because we have allowed it and continue to give them little bits of power at every point in our government. And now we're here.
I would agree with that. And I think it's Santana pointed this out about populism, and populism is dangerous. We should not want that. I think most people who aren't involved in politics don't really understand the populist mantra, what we're witnessing. And I don't necessarily classify, he is a populist, but it's different because he's a cult leader. So, and you're right. We can no longer talk about the rise of fascism and the rise of authoritarianism in our country because we're here. When you have U.S. military on the streets, on American streets, we're here. When you have just ignoring the constitutional norms, we're here. When you have, American citizens being dragged off the street, we're here. So we have to stop talking about, being on the precipice of. The question is now, what do we do with the information?
And I saw someone I saw someone ask, like, how do we fix it? Get involved. Push back at every single point. Malicious compliance. Do not allow them. Don't let your neighbors who have those flags up, make them uncomfortable. They have no qualms with making you suffer, with no qualms in making your life hurt. Push back, make them uncomfortable, put them back in the closet. This is the problem, is we are treating this, and I struggle with it too, guys. I'm the first to say that I struggle with I'm not a mean person, but I have to realize that they are going to take every bit of power and harm every group of people they can possibly harm, and they will think nothing of it. And I need to stop treating them like they have the same moral compass that I do, because I'm going to always question where I stand on things. I'm going to always be empathetic. You should always do that. That is what you should do. But they are not going to do that because they have been driven to this point. And the only way back from that is a hard stop.
Chuck, thanks for being here. What's on your mind?
27 million civilians have been unalived by the U.S. military since the end of World War II. The blood of those innocents are on the hands of the progressive left because they unlawfully gave the federal government.
Bye, Chuck. Dolphins in the harbor. Thanks for being here, Chuck.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Yep. Thanks for being here, Chuck. Appreciate your bold statement. So let's just identify what just happened, because Chuck doesn't want to talk about the obvious, so he's going to find something else to talk about so that Chuck can feel safe in his. Chuck's the kind of person who farts and then pulls the blanket over his head. That's the kind of person that Chuck is.
What a fucking.
Am I wrong?
Like, you're not wrong, but I didn't need that. Exactly. I didn't need that image first thing in the morning. I didn't even finish my tea and coffee. Like, I gotta caffeinate before we can do that kind of. Lord.
No, the host didn't run, help. Tanner. The host just does not bother to platform people like that because he doesn't want to have an intellectual conversation.
Yeah, no.
The progressive left. You mean the progressives in our country who are the only. Every time there's movement in our civil liberties and human rights and civil rights, it always comes from progressives. Always. It always comes from
And can we just have a moment here, Steve? The progressive left hasn't really existed until the last 10 years.
Good, well,
I shit you not. I shit you not. I have not. The amount of change I have seen now from 2020 to now has been phenomenal, because I was considered too far left 10 years ago. I was considered too far left 20 years ago before I could even vote because of my, political standing. So, like, who the fuck are you talking about? Bernie?
Yeah.
Bernie's been riding it solo for a while now.
Yeah. So Chuck, come up for air for a second, and I'll remind you that what the progressive left stands for is healthcare, food, water, education, and shelter. That is so fucking radical. Conservatives are the warmongers, my guy. They always have been. They are the ones that prop up the military-industrial complex. They always have been. You need to separate yourself from the political party affiliation and speak of it ideologically. Conservatives are the reason why we can't progress. Conservatives are holding us back. Conservatives have always been the problem. I don't care. There's conservatives, Democrats too. Victoria and I have talked about this. Fuck them as well. We want progress. We want to move our country forward. It's the fart smellers like Chuck that are comfortable in their little wombs that they want to criticize, that they want to take ownership of, but yet they're comfortable in there. They're the ones that are holding us back. But that's fine, Chuck. Your support goes to a predator. You're not the one that's calling for getting the Epstein files released because you're afraid, because your entire identity is connected to it. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
You might have mods might need to mute someone who's, I think, doing some casual anti-Semitism.
Shocker.
They're claiming that JD Vance is Jewish, but I've never heard that, which is also anti-Semitism. Gross. Get out of the chat.
Gross. So I'm looking at some of the surveys. Of course, we have the best mods in the business, and I'm looking at some of the data. And it's hard to determine. I'm trying to figure out what the respondents were. So it's a conjunction with a consortium of news organizations conducted exit polling across the country in 10 key states. The polling included speaking with voters at polling places and phone interviews. The exit polls are not results, but instead a look at the thinking of and motives of voters across the country. Exit polls help the public better understand the makeup and motivation of the electorate. So let's see. Favorable for J.D. Vance in this poll was 92%. Favorable for Tim Walz was 90%. Favorable for Kamala Harris was 92%. So if you're using that argument, then you've got Kamala Harris and J.D. Vance with the same favorable. So I guess I don't understand your point. And Donald Trump's favorable was 97%. So
honestly, I think little Cupcake was trying to defend Daddy Trump. Because
trying to defend J.D. Vance, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, I think like just defending J.D. Vance and Trump kind of go hand in hand because they can't stomach the fact that Trump picked a shit option for his vice president. So I think that it's a Daddy Trump thing. Well, we love J.D. No, you don't. Stop lying.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I appreciate y'all. You guys did warn me about Chuck. My apologies. I just got kicked in the shin. My mods, we have this running joke that if I'm not listening or paying attention to them, they kick me in the shins. I got kicked in the shins like multiple times, like a virtual kick in the shins. But yes, you were right. I was wrong again. But anyway, the purpose of this little exercise right now, and if we'll use Chuck as an example, is the fear. Of course, we can add progressives to the list of things that MAGA men in particular are afraid of. Progressives, people who want to move society forward, progress. Like, again, I think everybody across every citizen of the earth, I believe that healthcare, water, food, and shelter are human rights.
I need my stolen valor moment from your MAGA in the chat. I need them to say two things. One, go back to my country, and two, that I'm an unmarried and cat lady with with a plethora of cats. Like, just go ahead and tell me that. Tell me I'm divorced in the chat. Do it. I'm like Matt here. It's like my stolen valor thing.
That's right. Everybody, please keep tabbing. Please give Victoria. If you haven't yet, please consider contributing. We are crowdfunded here. You want to support the channel, you can find all my apps at Factsstillmatter. Thank you. Hey, Drew. How's it going?
Hey, good morning, Steve.
What's happening? What's on your mind today, friend?
Not much. I got to say, though, Victoria, I was kind of impressed. I was expecting him to cut you off at any second. Maybe they're slowly evolving to.
Oh, I know. I was sitting here like. Oh,
good point.
No. I was like, he's sitting there so nice. Good boy. I should have done a good boy.
I was just waiting because I was like, you're going to play with your food if he does that.
Oh God, do it. Cut me off.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't give him that much time to be able to do that.
I just had one quick point to bring up this morning because I've not seen it through obviously regular media, but I've also not really seen it on lives or anything when people are supporting these military actions in U.S. cities. I don't see people asking, okay, then what? All right, you invite these in. Okay, go ahead. Let's assume we just let the military come in and quote unquote clean up our streets. What then? What happens when they leave? Yeah. Are we going to live that way the rest of our lives with tanks rolling down the street and army guys walking up and down? And is that the life that they want? I mean, that's the question I'm not seeing asked is what's next? Are we just going to constantly pay for the military occupation of our cities? And when they leave, what's the plan then?
Well, that's what they don't. So think about what you just said, Drew. That's what the MAGA cult wants. Because they see everything in terms of this alpha mindset, right? It's strength, it's war fighters, it's the warrior ethos, it's the Department of War. So they want to lean in on the patriarchy, they want to lean in on their misogyny, and they think by rattling sabers and showing the show of force that somehow satisfies their kink. I'm not kink shaming in general, but that kink I'll shame because it's pathetic. Exactly. That's just my opinion. I'd be curious what you guys think, but I don't see how there's any other explanation because the same group of people for years has complained about government overreach. I'm sorry, but I don't think there's any bigger example of government overreach than fucking tanks rolling down Main Street.
I mean,
right?
Well, they're okay with it because they're okay with violence. They're okay with war because they're inherently violent. Like, that is part of it. Oh, I'm gonna piss off some MAGA in the chat. Come up and yell at me, guys. I mean, that's what it comes down to, because they equate power with abuse. They equate, you know, the government with only doing the things that they want. Like, we as progressives, we understand that there's some things that we're just not going to get from government, and we're okay with that because we're okay with the world not looking exactly like we want it. We just want it to be more humane and more accepting and take care of people. We want government to work for us, not against us, not for billionaires and whatnot. And that is why they're okay with this, because they want government to only work for them. They want it to be, if they don't get it, they will use violent means to get there.
Drew, I had to mute you because there's a lot of shit going on, so just wanted to let you know that. I agree, Victoria. I agree. I mean, like we've talked about before. First of all, we don't know what the conservative right wants because they don't ever tell us what they want. They're told to believe something. You know, that they're told to believe that we've got to fight back against crime in urban areas. Let's be real. They're told that we should not be giving SNAP benefits to kids. They're told that there's waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid, Medicare. We don't know what they stand for. We don't know what they stand for because they don't know what they stand for. They've been told to think all these things for decades, and they don't have any convictions towards things. It's always about how can I do harm to marginalized communities. Well, no matter what it is, as long as black and brown people are getting harmed, as long as LGBTQIA are getting harmed, as long as women are getting harmed, then I'm fine with the rest of it.
Oh, and I was going to say, like, I think we should point out the obvious here. They want to go after cities because they're racist fucks. Like, that is, you know, they're bigoted, they're racist. I mean, every ism and phobia, just go ahead and throw it on them that gets them up in their fifis. And we have to point that out because, like, this is part of it, is they want to see marginalized communities suffer because they are not surefire. Like, they cannot, their beliefs are so shaky and so breakable that they have to force the rest of the world to look like them or they can't function.
Agreed. Anything else, Drew?
Smart this morning.
Yeah, I wanted to apologize for the background noise, but Victoria will appreciate the fact that it was my kittens got hold of a paper towel tube and they were running around
kitty cat
making all that noise. Yeah, we got two little kitty cats that just run around like crazy.
People who have pets, don't ever buy a cat toy. Just give your dog or your cat a paper towel roll, and they're totally
or box.
Or a box.
A box.
Give them a fucking box.
Give them a box.
Oh, yeah.
Or a sock. Thanks for jumping in.
There's nothing funnier. There's nothing funnier in the world, Steve and Victoria, than a large cat sitting in a small box. That's how that
is
end
very
on
true.
That.
I appreciate you,
Thanks,
buddy.
y'all.
See you later, man. Thanks a lot.
Drew.
Take care. Yeah, it's agreed. Anything else today, friend? How about a plug? Go for it.
Plug. Guys, I'm Victoria Broderick. I'm running for Congress in Tennessee's District 4. I am a working class mom. I work full time. I have 2 tiny humans, 4 fur babies, and I foster a local humane society. I got my kittens and mama adopted. They are staying in my family. My in-laws adopted them, so I get to see my babies forever now, and I'm so excited. Guys, I am a small dollar donations person. Donations are right now a little on the thin side because gestures at the world. And we're also in the middle of a special election here in Tennessee. So go like my content, share my content, do the things, go like me on all the platforms. I am spicy 24/7, 365. And I want to make sure that you see better representation in office. So if you can donate, please donate today's date. So I know you came from TikTok, and stay hydrated and vote blue and stay silver facts.
I appreciate you very much. And just what people don't know, Victoria is really good with advice. Thank you, friend. Bye. Really I finally get the last word once in a while. Okay, I've got a request. Shark bait. Good morning. How are you today? Shark bait. Hello? Shark bait. Are you? I guess not. Okay. Anyway, I do love it. I must admit. Just an interesting exercise to kind of go through that this morning. And I forgot who it was that requested wanted to talk about polling. I'd be happy to have the conversation. I want to know what your point was. Now, exit polling, if you're asked, oftentimes you'll ask who you voted for. So then if you're already inclined to be in support of a particular candidate, then that's going to skew it. But the favorables, when you compare J.D. Vance to Kamala Harris, were identical. So I guess I don't know what the point was. We used NBC. That's the survey that we found. But my point on this is that there has been the question I would ask MAGA and conservative voters, okay? If J.D. Vance, if you just took out Trump's name and inserted J.D. Vance's name into everything that we know about Trump, that it was J.D. Vance who said these things about his daughter, J.D. Vance who was found civilly liable for SA. There was J.D. Vance who bragged about grabbing women by the vagina. It was J.D. Vance that's a criminal, 34-time convicted felon. There's J.D. Vance who signed the bottom of an Epstein birthday card. There's absolutely no way that the MAGA base would continue to support him because he doesn't have the charisma that Trump does. We can argue about that, but it's not debatable. Charisma doesn't always mean a good thing, right? Trump is charismatic. He draws people in. I know, silly facts. Couches can't sue. Good point. Good point. He draws people in. He can lie to them to their face, and many times they know he's lying, and then their response is, "Well, all politicians lie." So it doesn't matter what he does. We've seen that. So I just don't see anything that will ever match that again. And it's certainly not JD. Now, Santana brings up an interesting point about Elon. There's a lot of devotion to Elon, but you saw when he came out against Trump fracturing because the majority of people pick sides and they pick Trump's side. So look how triggered the host is. Wow. It's a trap. You can request if you'd like. I've got plenty of time to dunk on you. No problem. So I don't know. We're assuming that if we get through the end of Trump's term and they go through a primary, we're assuming that J.D. Vance becomes a nominee. It's likely because, you've got the power of the incumbency. It's likely he becomes a nominee, but you don't know, right? You don't know. So anyway, what we know today, we've learned that there's been a massive revision in job numbers, which is just more indication that the economy's crashing. We will get the inflation report on, Thursday. It comes out on September 11. Okay, we'll get that this week. That will be another indicator because we've already seen the PPI, which is the producer's price index from last month, go up to the highest point it's been in a long time. We also know that where the unemployment rate has spiked up, we're continuing to see bad signs. We're starting to see the impact of tariffs. Now we know that the appellate's court has said, no, your tariffs are illegal. So the entire economic plan behind the Trump administration has been about the use of IEPA, which is the International Economic Emergency Powers Act. I think that's what it is, IEPA, IEEPA. And the courts ruled, we don't see an emergency. Especially when he's going out and bragging about the state of the economy every single day, saying it's the best it's ever been. So where's the emergency? So you attempt to use these broad brushstroke blanket tariffs because you're declaring a national emergency. They don't see it. All right, there's some reporting here. I should check. So some breaking news. Israel says it's conducted precise strikes on H leadership. Israel has announced it conducted a precise strike targeting senior H leaders on Tuesday. For years, these members of the H leadership team have led the terrorist organization's operations. They are directly responsible for the brutal October 7th unalivings and have been orchestrating and managing the war against the state of Israel, the IDF said in a statement. Prior to the strike, measures were taken in order to mitigate harm to civilians, including the use of precise munitions. The IDF did not provide a location for where the attack was conducted. It's also unclear whether any target was unalived in the strike. Israeli military issued a full evacuation order for all of Gaza City. That's what we have so far. I don't see anything else connected to that story. Yeah, I don't see anything else connected to it. So again, we had the previous guest. If you did want to talk about the polling, because I guess I'm kind of confused about your point. I don't see. Were you trying to claim that he was significantly more popular? He wasn't as popular as Trump. We know that, and he wasn't more popular than Kamala Harris. We know that. Tim Walz is 91% in the same poll. So I guess I don't know. I don't know the point that you're trying to make. Anyway, we'll move on from that. It was in Qatar, Heather. Okay, is that where the strike was, in Qatar? Let me just double check something real quick here. Okay, yeah, it was in Qatar. Okay, or Qatar, however it's pronounced. Let me see here. Palestinian authorities says strike on Doha, a threat to security and stability in the region. We strongly condemn the immoral Israeli aggression that targeted the brotherly state of Qatar. Al-Sheikh added that the attack constitutes a serious violation of international law and Qatar's sovereignty and is considered a threat to security and stability. The Israeli military called it the Summit of Fire. Israeli military said that the strike on the H Group delegation in the Qatari capital of Doha was part of an operation dubbed Summit of Fire. Apparently, this attack was months in the making, two Israeli sources say. The Doha attack targeted the senior H leadership was months in the making, according to two Israeli sources, but it was accelerated in recent weeks. Sources have said that it had been in the works for about 2 or 3 months before Israel's leadership gave the approval to carry out the attack. Let's see. CNN executive producer Andrew Potter, who lives in Doha, Qatar, said that he heard a series of muffled explosions that rattled the windows of his apartment. He said that the series of explosions that he heard would suggest a number of explosions over about a series of 10 seconds. People fleeing the area. Just thinking about breaking news here. A wholly independent Israeli operation. I don't see any comments from the White House as of yet. Let me just double check that. Nothing yet. No. There you go. There you go. Let me just check one more thing here. Hold on. Residential housing. Qatar is saying it's residential housing that apparently housed Hamas senior leadership. They were there. The H Group leadership was there at the request of the Qatari government for mediation to try to resolve this dispute. And the IDF attacked a residential housing unit that was housing leadership for this summit. That's what it looks like. The White House apparently was notified in advance. What am I spewing propaganda, Bradley? Bradley, man, just come up in the box and talk to me. It's just easier. On the U.S.'s request, on the U.S.'s request that this was part of this mediation, Qatar's doing the mediation for this. So it looks like the reporting states that it was a residential housing unit that was attacked. What propaganda am I about, Eric? I'm sorry you can't handle the truth. I got to put the other background back up because these guys are proving it as we're talking. It's wild. It's so wild. So, and just so you all know, just so you guys know, I just want to share this with you. You may not know this, but you guys support universal health care and you pay for it because your taxpayer dollars goes to, first of all, not only universal health care for the Israeli citizens, but women to have rights to their body. So your taxpayer dollars are going to support that in Israel. Did you know that? You probably didn't know that, did you? Billions of dollars annually. Like billions of dollars annually. Are you cool with that? Are you cool? Did you know that? Did you guys even know that? Probably didn't even know that, did you? Of course not. You're okay with that, though, right? You're okay. You're okay with United States tax dollars going to support the Israeli citizens who get universal health care. And by the way, women have reproductive freedom, free college. Yeah. You probably didn't know that, did you? Yeah, you probably didn't know that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. For you. Let me just check one more thing here, see if there's any more updates on this story. And then we'll probably wrap. Unless anybody wants, we got a request. Okay. Hello, username. How are you today?
Doing all right. Uh-oh.
Do you want to go be a parent or a sibling?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. You requested. What's on your mind? Everybody says you're a troll. Are you a troll?
Maybe. I don't know what that is.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Are you capable of having an intelligent conversation without saying stupid shit?
Well, that depends. I mean, that's subjective. But I did know about.
Okay.
No, what you think is stupid is subjective.
Oh, what I think is stupid is subjective. Okay, cool. Good to know.
So I did know about the Israel.
Bye. The answer said it all, didn't it? Yeah. Jesus, that's wild. Anywho, all right, I think we'll wrap. Okay, so who are we going to raid, friends? Who's out there? Oh, first of all, I want to thank everybody today. Just a programming note for tomorrow. We'll be ending the show a little bit early tomorrow, probably around 11 a.m. Eastern time. But hopefully we're back on our main. I don't know if the account, we got taken down this morning. I submitted the appeal. I don't know if the appeal, I haven't checked on it. But if not, we'll be here. I'll let you guys know. I know I wanted to ask them what they had for breakfast, but it would have been too complicated. Let's raid Lainey. Tell Lainey we said hello when you guys head on over there. Please tell Lainey we said hello. Thank you guys. You guys are the smartest chat on TikTok, best mods in the business. I love you all. Be back here tomorrow morning, either here or on the main, and not starting early. We're starting at the regular time tomorrow. Just have to end a little early tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Thank